Hey. Hey there. Yup, 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 yup. Yup, yup. Can you hear me coming through? Good. Good, good, good. Good, good, good. Coming through. Nice and smooth. 98.5. Schizoid Radio. Anyway. 66.6. Living Hell Radio. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Um, let's see here. Well, if you're wondering about the title, don't worry. I was riffing on what I keep seeing in my algorithm now, which really annoys me. I keep getting the first time it happened, I thought, oh, that's kind of cool, because I found some of the comments interesting. But for some reason, one of the things my algo keeps picking up, and I'm curious if it's happening with you guys on YouTube, I keep getting these videos occasionally popped up that says, if this video found you, if this video found you, if you found this video, if this video found you. And I keep getting those. And then you click on it, and it'll just be like some music. And then like a bunch of comments underneath about people having really hard times. Which, no issue, but it's just like a weird trend, I guess. Like people are using like this if video found you thing. I doubt it'd work on this shit. But maybe it did. Maybe if you got here because you saw if this video found you, tell me in the chat. Because it's just been annoying. It's been annoying me that it keeps popping up in my feed. But it also makes me think about like a couple of things that I wanted to yammer about. I had a few things in my head. Well, what in particular is just the way that social media seems to be like getting everyone everywhere getting into like alarmist mode. There's a lot of weird trends going on right now where like catastrophizing on the internet about like current events is really monetizable. I mean, it's been like that, right? But like, because there's so much wacky stuff going on, people can just basically upload a video of themselves like saying, "This is really serious, guys. This is really serious." And like you're gonna like you guys are gonna get sent to concentration camps or something. And it's and then of course if you do a little digging, it's like not as like insane as they're making it sound. Oh, Hensog, I don't care, man. You're good. I know you have your episodes, so you're good. Don't worry. You have your episodes. You say some stuff, but if you ever say stuff that's a little too much, like I will have to like temporarily, like like suspend you from the chat, if it's like a really bad day. But if you're having a good day, I certainly hope you are. Yes, of course, it's not a big deal. Okay, I know you got a lot on your plate. Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I keep seeing this kind of stuff. Like I'll watch videos where like they've been showing like the latest stuff. By the way, if you're watching this, you don't know what it is. I'm essentially a diagnosed schizoid that does schizoid advocacy, and on Tuesday I just like talk about my takes on something or whatever's in my head at that given moment, which is usually what I do, but it's a little less organized on Tuesdays, I would say. Yeah, who am I kidding? It's never organized. But yeah, I'll watch like latest video from the Oval Office, or latest changes, or latest tweets by Doge right now, because I'm American, so I'm dealing with all that, or global, meta economics disaster and stuff. And so like I watch it, and I tend to like want to like dig into stuff because I'm a weirdo, and so like I'll, fact check things or what have you. But I don't just like use like one source. I usually will dig in for a few minutes and see like, okay, is this true? Is this true? Is this being exaggerated? Blah blah blah. And yeah, like a lot of the times it's being exaggerated. Trump and Musk? I don't know. I don't know if it's as scary as people make it out to be. I haven't. I know it's scary. In some respects, it's scary only if very specific assumptions that people are making actually come to pass. And so there are a lot of people that are freaked out. There are a lot of people that are over the moon. There are a lot of people that don't know what the fuck's going on, how it's going to play out, right? There's a lot of feelings. Now, I don't have too many feelings going on inside me over these events, except for shock and awe and interest and curiosity, right? I've yet to think that, I'm Latino. I guess I'm not thinking I'm gonna get like my born in this country citizenship revoked because I have brown skin or something. I'm not really scared of that happening. I'm not really scared of certain things because I haven't seen enough evidence of them. I'll possibly borderline material. No, you're good. You're good, Hitsog. Like I said, you're good. Don't worry. You have your episodes. And if I have to put you on a timeout because you're having a bad day, then I'll just do that. It's nothing personal. Anyway, so, like, I'll have people tell me, like, oh my god, did you, and I'll be like, okay, and then I'll, like, dig into it, I'm like, oh, wait, this is, like, actually pretty bad, or this is actually not that bad, or this is actually very much being propagandized in a weird way. Why? But why? Why is that happening? And so... like one example is like, everyone talking about, oh my God, USAID, oh shit, like they're going to take away all the funding for all these programs and everyone's going to fucking like, oh, like, it's the end of the fucking world, right? And then I look into it and I'm like, oh, okay, it isn't quite that law that got, changed or whatever. It's like a subset of that thing or another. But then like when you bring that up, it's like, oh, that's just the first step. It's like, okay, well, I can't argue against like, people with precognition, I guess. And so, it gets a little weird, like hearing this stuff, getting a DM or even in real life, seeing people, family members of family members really concerned about stuff and like really freaked out. And I'm like, where are you getting your information from? Like that you're getting so freaked out, and it's usually social media. Right. And I've been so busy the last couple of days. Work's been like really tough. It's been keeping me really busy. And so basically my days have been like, 9 to 5. And then I spend the whatever hours in between with my kids and stuff. And then by the time it's night, I'm exhausted. I'm drained. I just want to like look at silly videos and play video games, right? I used to be the kind of person in my 20s and even my early 30s. I used to be the person that was like up all night looking at like news articles and the latest, political happenings and so on, because I always had this thing about like, oh man, like if something crazy happens, I want to know why it happens. I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh no, I don't know what happened. Like I want to be able to go like, yeah, I know what happened and I expected it, and so let me see, what are you saying here? What about Elon's contracts? If he's oversight, wouldn't that be a conflict of interest? Yeah, there's like some stuff for sure. There's like a couple weird things that like, it's like, okay, well, what is the legality of this or what? But there's people acting as if some of the powers that were given to people in our government that like could be exploited in some capacity, they're acting like, oh my God, he's using that exploit or that thing that we've, our government's had in place for decades and decades, but he's using it. It's like, yeah, but nobody did anything to it. Like, it's just been sitting there, and other people have been exploiting it for years. And now Now Orange Man is exploiting it, and so now it's bad because Orange Man did it. And I'm like, what? Like, some of this stuff like that keeps getting talked about. I'm like, these things have kind of happened before, just not at this rate. Or they do, but they happen like very under the radar. Unlike Donald Trump, who's like just likes to run everything like it's the WWE. He wants like everything to be theatrical, so then everyone finds out about it, right? Meanwhile, like executive actions or weird shit could happen, and when they're doing it like all quiet and like yeah, everybody just watch Super Bowl. Let's not talk about this weird stuff. It's like, yeah, then people, unless you're somebody that was like me that was just digging into everything, you end up like it just goes right past you, like nobody's paying attention. Like there isn't that much that's going on right now that wasn't like something that could have been like that isn't a power that we've already given a variety of people in government. But because this guy tends to do so many theatrics, people are noticing. And I think there was a statement made about something like, oh, well, if there was something wrong with this thing that allows me to do this, then, why is it there? Why was everyone saying, oh, this should be something, somebody should do something about this, but nobody did anything? And now it's being used, or it's being like exploited in some capacity, and it's like, oh, shock and awe. It's like, no, they let that stuff just slide forever. What the fuck? Like, what's the big scary here? Like, and then all I hear is like all this stuff about like, oh, all these education, all the funds are going to get pulled, and all the kids are just going to be stupid, and they're going to privatize everything. And I'm like, okay, is that happening yet? What are the signs of this? Is there any replacements? Have we heard that there's replacements? Oh, they've said there's replacements for things. Is it any good? Oh, we don't know what it is yet. Okay, maybe we should see what it is. Then we can freak out if it's necessary, or but it's just I don't. And then on top of that, I just keep getting more and more information. I keep verifying myself that there's like tons of like the stuff that I've been saying. Because like, look, in my 20s, I'm a person that consider myself on the schizo spectrum. Besides being schizoid, right? That's a different kind of thing. I do a lot of loose associative referential thinking. Top down, top down, top down. That's my thinking, right? My thinking is top down, intuitively. I can go bottom up, but I actually have to like put in more effort to do that. But just automatically top down thinking, and that's for a lot of like schizospec people. They're just top downers. The problem is that a lot of them like they don't like get that under control or discipline it, and so they end up just like everything gets approached that way, and then everything that's salient in the top down intuitive perspective becomes like real, which isn't, or and becomes like affects the practical or the material. But anyway, besides that, um, no, I'll hear something, and so I'll dig into it. I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, this has been happening for a long time. Like some of the stuff that like I think Elon's brought up, some of the stuff that Trump, his team, but the stuff that keeps coming up, the Doge group keeps finding. Hold on one second. I think that's my daughter. All right, one sec. Hey. I guess she snuck in here at some point. I didn't even see when she snuck in here, and she was behind my chair for a while, like just. And I felt something moving my chair, and I went like this, and I'm like, yeah, it was her, my little one. Anyway, what was happening? Oh yeah. So here I have like the worst headache too today. Wonderful, right? Wonderful streaming with a headache. Gotta love it. But yeah. Anyway, so some of the stuff that like the Doge team or whatever keeps bringing up, and there was just that whole there was an Oval Office. Elon was there. They're bringing up all this crazy stuff, right? All this like wacky shit that makes it sound like, oh, what? They're making it up. Like, there's no way, this money is going to this thing and that thing, and they're just focusing on the wacky stuff, right? They're not, but there's all this good stuff, and I'm like, my issue is that like I've been assuming for like, I don't know, 15 years or something of my life already that there's an entire money laundering scheme essentially that just kind of happens with federal funding, like that. That's how people in civic work or whatever of a higher, that's how they have like a paycheck, but they also suddenly have like investments and a ton of fucking money. Because I honestly think there is all kinds of fucking kickbacks happening. And you know why I believe there's kickbacks happening? Because this is what humans do. They've been doing this forever. And they just keep playing these same games where the corrupt feed the corrupt, feed the corrupt. Don't tell on me and I won't tell on you. Don't tell on me and I won't tell on you. And it just goes on and on and on and on. And of course, like, this is the first time somebody, and I'm not saying, oh, it's the greatest thing ever. I'm saying getting a bunch of like autists to just be like, hey, autists, go in there and find out all the bad numbers. Where'd the money go? Where'd the money going? And those Doge autists are like, okay, and then they just dug. Like, I guarantee you, like, look, Elon has an agenda. Trump has an agenda. A bunch of the people in politics, of course they have an agenda. That's what they do. That's the whole point. That's the fucking thing. But a lot of the people, a lot of the autists and stuff that they got, the super geniuses they got working on this shit, man. Most of them are either into the just, hey, yeah, fuck yeah, this is awesome, or they probably have like, I worried, and this is kind of my thing. I worry that then they attack the autists. Hopefully not. But I worry that, like, I know this is going to sound silly, but I'm less worried about Elon and Trump and more worried about, like, some, like, Channer, like, accelerationist, getting access to things. And essentially having some, like, weird fucked up accelerationist ideas, and they throw wrenches into stuff. They throw wrenches not just into, like, Trump and Elon's plans. They throw wrenches into everything. Give bad advice to, like, what I would say the neurotypical narc that is Trump, and the neurotypical autist that is, the narcissistic neurotypical that is Trump, and the narcissistic autist that is Elon. So these are people that, given to the right people, it's pretty malleable. They're pretty malleable. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they just have all the kindness and all the goodness. That's all that's happening. There's nothing nefarious happening here. I don't know. It's all about America. They're just doing it for America. That'd be interesting. I doubt it. But yeah, in the UK, is money wastage from big government with our civil servants right down to the small. Yeah, it's happening constantly, Ratas. Like, there's so much, like, kickbacks and money happening on a local level, state level, federal level. It's fucking nuts, man. Backdoor deals. This isn't new shit. That's what drives me crazy. This isn't new stuff. Like, and I know, I get it. Some Zoids are grillers, and I respect you guys, the grillers. I don't care about this stuff. Fine. Don't care. I don't blame you for not caring, to be honest. Honestly, don't blame you at all. I pay $120 every month to Starlink, and therefore a Nazi, and it makes me sick. Maybe Nazi? I don't know. There's a lot of signs that point to weird shit. Maybe fucking Channer? Maybe fucking Troll in Chief? I have no idea. Maybe like a really, really shit irony? I don't know. I don't know what's real. But point is, there is a lot of stuff that I already assumed was occurring that is actually being talked about out loud. So that's the one thing that I would say I don't trust the motivations of this administration, but I am glad to see these particular things be talked about out loud. Um, all this like money funneling into bullshit programs, bullshit stuff. This is not new things. These are not new. This has been happening for a very long time. Now, why are they bringing it up? Why are they like putting it out there in the light for the public to see? I can't tell you. I don't know what the plan is. Though, at the moment, I am glad to see that it's being put out there, because that's something that I've always had a problem with. And I'm talking like military-industrial complex that stuff, because they're saying they're going to go after the military too. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I know. They're like, oh, God. Oh, Max, you're... there's always somebody that thinks anything is propaganda all the time, depending on who you are and where you're talking about it from. So, and I know a lot about propaganda. I know a lot. It's the whole. Most of my masters and stuff was intelligence and propaganda. Like, I'm like obsessed with these things. It's like one of my special interests. And there's plenty of propaganda going on. But point is, one of the worst forms of propaganda that everyone's eating up is the alarmist stuff, regardless of what the position is. It's like, oh, here comes incoming this, incoming that. Oh shit, world ending. And then you have like these fucking pundits on the internet or on like network television, and those videos make it like, to the YouTube channels, which then make the rounds as like TikTok clips and shit. And they're like using the most fucking inflammatory language possible. Like, they're using, like, the most, like, just emotionally charged language possible. And all these people that are just, like, really, everything's so scary and weird, and they're just trying to, like, figure out what's happening, and they got people telling them, like, the purge, is coming, or concentration camps are coming, or, they're gonna, like, cut all your social security, and they're gonna start, like, rounding up old people and shooting them. Like, it's like... They're using language that implies that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, the person saying it is like some like multi-million-dollar pundit. It just drives me crazy, because one of the comments I keep hearing is like, oh yeah, go ahead and listen to the billionaires like Elon. I'm sure we can trust them. It's like, yeah, but the people telling you not to trust them are billionaires too. The billionaires are fighting the billionaires. Just so goofy, man. The best you can hope for is that the billionaires that are actually in control won't, completely shit the bed, but who knows? Who knows? It's funny how Musk Geek Squad is going around big government departments weeding out inefficient. They could have made Revenge of the Nerds movie out of it. Yeah. Yeah, that's what's funny. Like, look, if all this inefficiency stuff keeps going and they're fixing it and they don't replace it with anything tenable, I'm going to have a problem. As far as, the way immigration is being handled, I am not a fan of the way it's being handled right now, but I wasn't a fan of it the way it was being handled in the last, like, 3 sets of administration. It's just this one's more theatrical. That's literally all it is. This administration is theatrical. And I guess it works. I mean, just look at the numbers. Look at them under numbers under the favorite dude, Obama. Look at the numbers under, even if you go all the way back to George Bush Jr., all this sort of stuff. Like, there's a lot of this stuff just been going. There was so much immigration. There was so much ICE shit during the Obama years. Like, it was just so much stuff. There was so many things being mishandled. Like, they're being mishandled at the moment. This isn't new stuff. This isn't new. It's just everyone gets mad because he's theatrical. And that's part of the ploy. That's part of that's what's really funny. That's part of the shtick. Do you think this theater is there just to like embolden his base? No, no, no. They're there. It's there to rile shit up, get people all scared, and freaked out. Money machine just keeps charging shit. Yeah, yeah, exactly, man. It's wild. It's just wild what it's doing to people. And me, me having access to the ability to just go boom, right? Enacting my essentially utilizing my ability now, I guess, to and with practice, I've been able to like I guess, weaponize it, but my ability to sort of disconnect emotionally from people displaying a lot of emotions when they're making an argument or making a point or telling you about something. Um, yeah, like once you detach from some of that stuff when you're approaching these subjects, right? I'm not talking about like trying to establish an intimate relationship with a human being and you're all like fucking unable to because of all your stuff going on, but I you start looking at it with the most sober lens. Me saying sober, right? You start seeing like, oh wait, we don't even have all the information yet. Like there was one thing that I thought was funny today. I was like, what? Like when they said the thing about I believe it's the contract retirement contract related like information and paperwork is like in a limestone mine. I was like, no, because like Elon said something along those lines, and he made it sound like they had like an old rickety car in a mine, but it is in a mine. It's like, and it's on paper, and there's like a bunch of stuff that just hasn't been like for some reason digitized. Um, because it's incredibly easy to do now, but it's just like it's just sitting there like that, and it just makes the process incredibly slow. Like, why are we still using snail mail? Is beyond me. Like, for a lot of things, like we've had fax machines for how long? It's weird. Anyway, so I've been frustrated with how much people are panicking. Not because like, and I'm not the type. See, this is the thing. I'm not one of like maybe in my 20s I would have been the guy that's like, yeah, people are stupid. They don't even understand. Like that. I don't feel that way anymore. I just go like, people are scared, and things are kind of wacky, and people are being manipulated by their fears. They're being manipulated by the constant bombardment of random information that's being thrown at them as they're doom scrolling on their phone or whatever else. I don't even, I just feel bad. I feel bad about it. It's terrible. This is awful. Um, if there is something bad coming, it's not going to be the thing you think it is. And if there's something good coming, no one's going to be expecting that because no one expects anything good to come of any of this, except for I feel like best case scenario. This is the best case scenario in my mind with everything that's going. I gotta cut my nails. Holy shit, they're long. They're clean, but they're long. Um, Best case scenario is all like the most extreme people of the current administration's base don't get exactly everything they want. I think it's going to be. I think some stuff's not going to happen that is absolutely insane. Obviously, like there are people out there that want, yeah, bring back the camps, like there's psychos out there, right? So those people are never going to be satisfied, and I don't think that stuff's going to happen. But also, the people that think it's the apocalypse, I don't think that they're going to be satisfied with the fact that it's not the apocalypse. I've been yelling it's the apocalypse, and it's not. I think everyone is going to be generally disappointed to some degree, but possibly some benefits may come of all this. I don't know. Because I don't see everything that is happening as bad. I see things that are bad. I see things that are good. I see things that are really bad. And I see things that could be really good. But I don't know. I know you don't trust Rachel Maddow. Nobody should trust Rachel Maddow. I don't even think even people. I don't know why anyone watches these like big channels anymore. Like it's just like crazy to me. Like that should be its own kind of mental illness. Oh, you're still watching Fox and CNN and MSNBC? Oh, you have a disease of the mind. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but it's just like that's crazy to me. But also, people are like putting all their stock into like influencers, and it's like, no, stop. That's just as bad. They're doing it for the same reasons, to make money, but they're just doing it on a smaller level than like the big network. But they're still doing it to the same greedy people on a different. It's the same greedy fucks, and it's just no, nobody cares. And yeah, I just it's hard for me to parse all this stuff out. And a part of me just laughs. The most like pessimistic parts, just like, part of the course, part of the course. But the one thing that is new, the one thing that is new that's never happened is essentially like all these government kickback things and all these issues, like actually all the dirty laundry being thrown out into the public, on like an institutional level. That hasn't been done yet. People have been talking about it forever. That's what's so funny too. This is what kind of drives me nuts too. A lot of the people that would have been like, yeah, there's all this like military educate, there's all this like, money being funneled and laundered within our government. They'd be like, they're the same people that years ago would have been like, oh no, that they're the same people that say, like, oh, they're doing is dangerous. It's like, didn't you want this to happen under a different administration? Was this literally what you wanted to happen? You wanted to, like, to the them to do something about this and to, like, air out all the dirty laundry, like that's literally what people kept saying. Those same people are acting like because the wrong person's doing it. It's like, why wasn't anybody already doing it to begin with? And if the wrong person's doing it, who's to blame? Who's to blame? I mean, the guy got legitimately voted in. Who do we blame here? There's a lot of people to blame. There's a lot of people to blame. Like pendulum swings. They keep happening. One of the most interesting things coming out is like, that some of the USAID money was going to like, journalism, fucking, for the US based like, fucking journalism. Why? They're private companies that they're not delivering the news as it should be. They're just. And then I'm here. It hasn't been verified, right? But like a lot of the stuff, like way back, like in 2010, I was like one of those people that like was really invested and really like interested in what was going on with all that Gamergate stuff. Remember? I don't know. Some of you are old enough to remember. Now there's like new videos coming out. Like there's people coming out like doing videos, Gamergate, what it really was, and then other people are like, Gamergate, what it really was, and it's like. And like I guess like there's a lot of theories and ideas coming out that, oh look, these people are connected. Some of this money that was coming from places like USA were going to like investing pushing political ideas for one kind or another, and that's why that money was going through to them and groups like Politico and stuff. It's like, what? And those are the ones that like the ones that got the money are the ones that made those big pushes towards certain narratives. And it's like, that's weird. That's weird. That's really weird. And I'm supposed to just like, what am I supposed to do with that information? Am I supposed to just go, oh, don't look at there, don't look at that? I look at whatever I want to look at. I look at everything. Like I don't just not look because that thing make my narrative look bad. We'll see. But like all that stuff that I thought was happening regarding all that Gamergate shit way back, that I said, oh, that's not good. This isn't a misogyny problem. This is like a greed and corruption problem within the game industry, and this is like an issue with how certain things function and how money gets exchanged. Like, that's not good. And then like, yeah, that's literally That's like what I'm finding out more of. Is it's just all money. It's all money. The culture war was money driven. You know who won in the culture war? No one. Everyone lost. Goddamn waste of time. Really was. And it's frustrating. Because, as somebody like myself that's kind of felt disconnected and just kind of watched things from afar, you know how it could be, guys. I know a lot of you Zoids feel like that, right? You're just like, your neurodivergent ass is already kind of like, you already have like the most, you know, uh, dark purple tinted lenses about the world and a lot of what's happening. And you just kept assuming the worst. And I feel like the worst isn't as sensational as everyone is trying to make it out to be. I think the worst is going to be banal. I think the worst is going to be just boring greed, incompetency, and status seeking. It's just going to be a bunch of boring shit. It's not going to be a grand cabal. It's not going to be all this stuff. I really don't think it's going to be anything like. It's just going to be greed. And you know what's sad? What's sad? The worst part in my mind is that, assuming, right, the current administration is on this like rampage to like get rid of all these like loose ends and like, inflation of like government spending, what they mention, like 150-year-old people getting social security in the system, all kinds of weird schemes on a local level, on a larger level. um but even if, like, say they succeed, right? Say they go, they do it, and they fucking fix it, and inflation goes down, and America is like, super cool again or something. I'm like, how long is that gonna last? Some of the fundamental problems with a lot of what we're under. Oh Lord, 1 second, please. Sorry, family members had to come in here and get some stuff. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not gonna last. A lot of the major issues with how human beings, like, in my opinion, perceive themselves, perceive their own species, and everything else, those are the problems that aren't being looked at. That's not what's being discussed, because those are just, they don't matter. That's not how the world works. Who cares? Blah, blah, blah. There's always some reason for it, right? I feel like a lot of problems that exist within human society are basically ignored or covered up with the claim of utilitarianism or pragmatism. I think sometimes or naturalistic fallacies about our species. But but yeah. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. End of the world, probably not. Beginning of a new golden age, probably not. Probably neither of those things. Will my local carton of milk go down in price? Will eggs stop being here in Cali? Will a box of eggs, like, a bigger box that used to be like $10, will it stop being $40? I don't know. I hope so. That would be cool. That would be nice. Even if things get stable, is somebody gonna fuck it up again? Yep. But you got to keep chugging. Got to keep going. Luckily, you won't experience all the ups and downs. Your life will end before that happens. So, but you'll see some of them. And just remember, they're always going to be around, not going anywhere. We just need more ups than downs. That would be nice. Best we could hope for, at least at the moment. And if you could do anything to go ahead and make them be more ups than downs, I suggest you do, even on a local level. But definitely just sitting around feeling bad about it is not going to improve anyone's conditions, including your own. Though I don't blame you for sitting around feeling bad about it, because I certainly do. So yeah, I am annoyed about how social media is currently impacting the means in which people are perceiving the seemingly, well, I mean, pretty drastic changes that are occurring. And some of them are going to be bad, and some of them are going to be good. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if anyone is right about any of this. I really don't think anybody's going to be right about any of this. We'll see. I I don't. Yeah, like I said, no golden age, but no dark age either. I don't. There's too many people that have something to gain from keeping certain things chugging along. Yeah. What is this? What are some people in the chat? I'm just looking at the chat and stuff too. Yeah, I don't think I'm insane when it comes to this stuff. I heard a story recently. It's something completely unrelated that kind of bothered me. I Somebody told me that their doctor had when they were trying to explain their mental health situation, in which there's signs of, or various signs of, like something like schizophrenia, that they were told by their practitioner and by their psychiatrist, they were told that, well, it's likely you're not schizophrenic because you're able to hold down a job and you weren't like homeless. What a crazy answer. What a wacky answer to tell somebody, huh? I mean, it makes sense. That's probably why, like I had mentioned a while back, I had a psychiatrist that told me that I talk too much, and he's helping me with my ADHD medication. So that's good. That's a helpful thing to tell somebody. And telling somebody that's likely schizophrenic, oh well, maybe you're not because you're not homeless, and you don't look your life isn't disorganized enough. It's like they punish you for being competent, even with the weights and burdens that you might have been born with. You want to here's another one that's interesting. You guys might not know this one, right? So there's like these programs in different states that could like help that could help kids with like certain kind of disabilities, or kind of neurological differences, whether it's like autism, ADHD, whatever. And so if you have those things, right? Um, you'd assume like, oh well, if you request, that your student or somebody needs a little extra help, you just got to go through a process. There's paperwork, right, right. But it's like, okay, it's something that can be done. Something, right? Like nothing crazy. But then like I did a little more reading into. Apparently, you have to have bad grades too. So if you have good grades, then they don't care. They don't care how much you're stressed. The kid is stressing out. The neurodivergent kid is stressing out, pulling out his hair, trying to get A's. Well, you got A's and B's. You're fine. They don't care what the mental health cost is. That's irrelevant. That doesn't make the public school money. Good grades make us money. Why are we going to spend funds on the kids already getting good grades? We need to make sure that the kids that are getting bad grades get good grades so that we get more money. Public schools are not in it for the kids. Teachers, maybe. Some of the people that work, staff in public schools, yes, but they're not in it for the kids, which is tragic because they should be, but they're not. When you have something like that in place, you're not in it for the kids. Like, oh, their mental health, that's irrelevant. Go see a psychologist or something. We're only going to step in if you're getting bad grades. Crazy, crazy. Look it up. I'm not exaggerating. Go look up how a lot of this like what is it called IEP stuff works. Go look it up. Go find out about it. Essentially, like if you have a kid or something that is having a lot of trouble at school and like freaking out because they're still trying to get good grades, but like they have some kind of like neurodivergence that's making like life extremely hard at school. Um, um, just just make sure to, and I'm kidding, in Minecraft, make sure to tell them to start getting just awful grades. Just start failing all your classes so that they can put you on this thing and then start getting good grades and you'll still be on it because they're going to think their stupid program is what made it so that you got good grades. Because like apparently like if you like if you have some kind of condition that makes that makes a kid miserable and makes life really tough to deal with, is it affecting their? Is it a learning disability? Oh no, I don't care. We don't care. You're getting good scores. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Crazy, crazy. And then we wonder when these kids get to like high school and college, right? And all these fucking problems are still happening. It's like, wow, we should have really nipped that in the bud, huh? We should have like really helped support them when they were still kids. Wow, it's just going to cost us a lot more now that they're adults in a university that now will need all these concessions and all these things because, you didn't think it was good enough when they were getting good grades in public school. Sick shit, man. Sick shit. So yeah, these kinds of things have been going on for a while. That's why when I heard about like, oh no, they're going after the, they're going after the education department and like, I'm like, man, I like in my mind I go like, yeah, that stuff needed to get gone after. I don't know that the people that are going after it now are going to necessarily do anything good. But why didn't we go after this stuff like a long time ago? Like that's what's wild. That's what's wild. If you want to blame anybody, if you're freaked out, you think it's GG because you got Trump and Elon at the forefront, right? If that's your position, you need to blame all the previous administrations and all the previous groups that just were fucking grifting everyone for decades. Blame them. If you're mad, blame them. Don't blame all the people that voted for Trump. That's silly. They're literally like that because of this stuff. They're literally like that because of culture war shit, because of financial shit, because of government inefficiency, all kinds of corruption. They're literally like this. That it made them want to vote for Trump the previous time and this time. They're literally like this because of this shit. They're not to blame. The people that are to blame are the people that kept getting voted in and did nothing. That's who's to blame. Nobody seems to understand that. It drives me crazy. I think I get it why like a bunch of 20-something-year-olds like they don't know. They just see the TikToks and stuff. Like they don't know how bad it's already been. It's just wild. It's fucking wild. There's literally countries right now with slavery. Most people don't even know that. They don't even think about it. There's literally countries that literally have slaves. I hope you knew that. Sometimes they give them prettier names, though. I don't know about that, Hinsog. But yeah, there might be some that are filled with. I think most people that voted for Trump were just like tired and scared. That's why he got the popular vote. That's why he got the majority vote. Because 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 think about it, right? You had the what are the si se puede fucking Obama, right? He was supposed to be like this savior to the people, and not much happened. All this stuff that's like coming out right now, why didn't Obama do it? Why didn't Obama lead the efficiency government? Blah blah blah. Why didn't that happen then? Why didn't George Bush Jr. do it? Why didn't Clinton do it? Why didn't they do it? Why didn't Biden do it? How come he didn't do these, like, it's time to crack down on government inefficiency? Like, how come he didn't do it? If they would have done it, would they have done it better? Would it have been less scary if they did it? If they would have cracked down on something like immigration in a much more ethical way in the previous administrations, would we be having this problem right now where they might be doing it in this very unethical way? A lot of politicians, a lot of businesses are trying to convince you that the main problem is something that's happening right now. No. Yeah, of course the public's being gaslit. Being gaslit into thinking that all this scary stuff is just happened now. That there was what? I don't know what to do with that information. I just got to keep working for the Zoids and doing my thing, and trying to get a hold of a few people. Hope to God that they just answer back. So some better news. Currently, I'm trying to get a hold of another really cool professor that has some really cool stuff, and even currently apparently doing research on Zoid stuff and avoided stuff. And I'm also might get someone that was hanging out around here in the past, as far as psychologists go. Maybe they'll show up because there isn't too many people that give a shit about what I'm talking about. Democrat Party practices fascism all the time, but accuse everyone else of fascism. I can't take them seriously. They're all doing it. But you know what fascism is? Fascism is when there's like individual pockets of fascism. And fascism is when a person gets a bunch of power and then they do a bunch of bad shit with it, and then they try to impose their will upon like whatever it's like around them at the cost of other people. There, why don't you call that fascism? You're going to have fascist mayors in Democratic sections. You're going to have fascist governors and whatever in Republican sections. You're going to have fascist fucking Green Party. I guarantee you, if you got some Green Party or some like third party person and you put them on a pedestal, they'll just become they'll do a lot of the same shit. So crazy. Yeah, I don't take any of it seriously. But you still got to work with it. You still got to keep yourself informed because hey, don't you want to know? Don't you want to know what hit you? I don't know. Maybe that's always been my thing. I want to know what blows me up if something does. I want to know what it is. That's always been a fear of mine since I was a kid. Like getting taken out or something bad happening to me that I had no idea was coming. That's something like that. I know it's like pathological, right? But that's something since I was a kid I was worried about. Yeah, fascism is a spectrum, absolutely. Fascism is a spectrum. Oh man, that word has lost so much meaning, and it's tragic because it was a really good word. Great word, had pizzazz, you know. It already had so many like associations to like really horrible shit. Now it gets used for all kinds of dumb shit. It's crazy, pathetic. Just drained all the fucking life out of that word. All the vitriol that word, you know, actually possessed. right? Like if you would have called somebody a fascist like 20 years ago, even hell, 10 years ago, even maybe before that, no, because that was like Gamergate and all that shit was still around. No, let's just say like 15, 16 years ago, that would have been like, what? No, this doesn't mean anything anymore. Stupid. Come up with a new word, I guess, because that shit got tired, and not because like it's not inaccurate, but because it's just tired. I hate so crazy, man. You guys do not want my takes on certain things. I mean, that's what Tuesday's for. Tuesday's my takes on stuff, and sometimes I talk about the whatever. Am I an extremist? Am I crazy? I am a status quo hater, but I really don't like the status quo on either side of many political spectrums. They seem to be fueled by the same monster. But then again, that's just me being a stupid idealist about things. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not going to call Trump supporters bad people. I'm not going to call most people that vote bad people. They're scared people. I think that's a more accurate statement. They're full of fear, not hate. I accept your apology. What are you talking about? My apology. Who's apologizing? I'm not apologizing to you, active. What the hell? This stuff's just who wants to smoke the virtual joint? All right. So yeah, that's kind of how I currently feel about it. I'm just like, okay, well, nothing that's happening right now isn't anything that we allowed, that we didn't allow. Everything that's happening is something we allowed. Everything that's happening is a consequence of people just never doing anything about making sure those things can't happen because they were enjoying it while it was happening for them. That's how it always is. Yeah, they usually end up being wrong to some significant degree. Majority consensus decision making. Yeah, it doesn't really go too good, does it? I feel like the tragic. Well, I don't know about tragic, but like I know it's a little black pill of me, but I just think like, man, democracy is such an interesting concept if it worked ever. Statists are bad people, and that's most people. Most people are safetyists. Whatever they'll bank on whatever is safest. Not most people aren't really risk takers, even if it would like lead up to a general good or a better situation for more people. It's like, well, will I be safe? Yes, that's all I need to know. That's how most people are. Will I be safe? Will my group be safe? At what cost? It doesn't matter. I'm scared. Great. Awesome. I don't want to give up what I have. So weird. Another thing that makes me laugh is like when like you have like Europeans and stuff like just constantly talking about how like America is so bad, and they have their countries being just as shit, and then we're complaining about like how their countries are shit and how our country is better. It's like, oh God, guys, like it's just the same shit all over the fucking place at different levels, with different people doing the same shit. Collectivism and self-preservation are held as virtues. Yeah, but hyper-individualism is not a virtue in and of itself either. Gotta go Aristotelian virtue ethics, but most people don't like to do that because that means moderation. That means taking your excesses and moderating them so you don't feel happy all the time and you accept feeling sad sometimes. One of the fundamental human problems, the inability to accept suffering of any kind, and the prices they are willing to pay to avoid it altogether. I love it. You got to love it. But anyway, I know I'm not talking about mental health stuff or any of that kind of stuff right now. I was at the beginning. What else? What else? Let's go back to like something a little more local here. A related question: what's your take on black lights and fluorescent atmospheres? Black lights and fluorescent. Well, I know that like there's a bunch of lights like getting all crazy in like what is it, like places like Walmart, Target, or whatever. Like there's like certain sections where like the lights are all purple and shit. That has to do with like some kind of like film or something that goes around fluorescent lights, and how it's like like they had some new thing and it degraded, and so like now all these lights are like fucking shooting down all this purple light at everyone. Yeah, it's like weird stuff like that. I hate fluorescent lights personally. Like I not because like oh I think there's like a grand conspiracy of fluorescent lighting, but because well one there's like way more light pollution because of it. Like you can't even see the goddamn sky along with all the cool things in the air. But also like it gives me a goddamn headache. That's one of the things I hated when I was going to university. Like every classroom had fluorescent lighting. That shit like I would literally just like I would wear like sunglasses in class because it would give me a goddamn headache. Yeah, we've been spending most of our lives in a gangster's paradise. Yeah, I know. Or an Amish paradise, if you ask Weird Al Yankovic. Um, Crazy rabid mobs fighting over scraps. Yep. Yep, 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 yep. Yep, yep. It's just so weird to, like, grow up being, like, some 20 something teenage, like, schizospectrum kid that ends up developing all these Zoid adaptations. So I just went, like, full internal world thinking, my internal world versus the world type thinking, um, the incompatibility and everything, and then I just was schizoing into like all kinds of like conspiratorial thinking about this and that, like because as a young person usually you're just sitting there trying to go like this world, especially if like I think honestly, hot take, I think honestly that's why a lot of schizospectrum um, people end up going like the like big conspiracy route and get like more schizotypal and stuff, whether it's like a spiritual conspiracy or like an actual like political or an alien one or what have you. I think a lot of that is just a symptom of not just like their way of thinking, because their way of thinking doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to lead to those places. It's not a necessary component. It's just that when you're like a kid that's like that, you do a lot of loose associative referential thinking and stuff, magical thinking, even, right? When you do all that stuff, you have no mentor, you have nobody, right, growing up. And the world's just so scary and overwhelming, and there's so much evil in the world, and you can like feel it. Like you could just like you just because you're top down thinking, you're just seeing like so much awfulness in the world. You're just like, oh God, everything's like so bad all the time. That's all they talk about. That's all that ever comes up. There's so much badness everywhere. There was even badness in my home, and there's badness at school, and there's bad. Sorry about the phone. There's badness on the TV, and there's badness on the internet, and there's badness like. So then, yeah, like you try to come up with like a way. You're just like, there has to be. What the fuck is my phone doing? Shut the fuck up. There has to be a way to like there has to be, there's a plan, there's a reason why this world's so evil. It must be some like cabal, it must be some reptilians, it must be, there's got to be an answer to why everything's so fucking scary and awful, right? And so they go that route. And when they don't have support, when they don't have like a loved one that can actually understand their fears or they can communicate it, where are they going to go? They're going to go to like some author that's like grifting, taking a full advantage of people like this, grifting whatever like crazy like the world is controlled by a cabal of psychopathic narcissists. I would say Warhammer as far as schizoid hobbies. I say Warhammer, yeah. There's probably a lot of Warhammer schizoids. I wouldn't be surprised. There's probably a lot of schizo spec people that like Warhammer 40k because like it's like nerds that are kind of on my side of the tracks because it's so like meta and expansive and it's so like top down. It's like so big, 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 big. It's like almost abstract. So yeah, yeah. That's why it's funny. I think like Warhammer 40k attracts both schizos and autists, but they like usually like get into different parts of it. It's so like varied. So like if you're like more like into systems and specifics and like you can do that, especially if you're doing the tabletop. Then it's like, oh man, I want to know all the things and all the little pieces about this particular legion and these particular weapons and this particular part of the galaxy. Which conspiracy other than the alien hasn't been proved true by now? Good point, but the problem is, Redwood, is that the way they approach those conspiracies were usually wrong, right? Like, it's usually more banal, like greed, excess, sickness, power hungriness. Like it's happening on an individual level. There's a lot of really bad people that end up working in pockets together because it's the whole like, well, if I don't tell them, well, you don't tell them about me, I won't tell them about you, and that's how you get these kinds of groups. But like, is there like a fucking bunch of like overlords sitting in a dark room and like, they're like, bring out the book, and just like this like flaming evil book comes out, and then like they talk to demons on a tape? Like, no, that's not happening. That's not happening. That's silly. That's goofy. It's just goofy. Would it be cool if that was happening? Hell yeah, that'd be awesome. Way cooler than what is happening, in my opinion. I think it would be way cooler if like it was just like psychos that want like adrenochrome and all this kind of like Alex Jonesy, fucking David Icke type shit was real. Like it would still be scary, like the whole like, it's all a conspiracy to keep our souls on Earth and blah blah blah. Like, that would be kind of cool. Like if it was like spiritual warfare, like, yeah. Like I don't know. Maybe there's some components to that. But my point is like that would be more interesting than what I think it is, which is just really boring and really awful. And the whole banality of evil good times. Like like okay, like oh, like there's people out there that like they talk about JFK, MLK, or assassinations, whatever. They're like oh, Kennedy was taken out because he was going to release the documents on the extraterrestrials, and he was like, here's a quote he said about space, and that proves that's why they took him out. It's like, yeah, probably not. It was probably something to do with like millionaires and billionaires or millionaires. It's like multi-millionaires that there was something that he was going to push for, or he's going to expose something that was going to like hurt a certain family that has a lot of influence and money, and it has had like, and like that's the kind of stuff that would get somebody like JFK killed if it was like inside job type stuff. I haven't even looked into. I'd like taking LSD and fishing nature. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. But like, yeah, I don't. How come I can't? Like, it's trying to be crazy. Never mind. It's so stupid. But yeah. God, the amount of grifters out there is like crazy. I can't believe there's like one of the most sickening kinds of grifts there are out there are like the ones that prey upon like people with PTSD. Oh God. Those make me so fucking mad. I mean, I think and I brought him up on the server. I think Sam Batkin is definitely one of those people. They'll just grift the fuck out of like mentally ill or traumatized people to give them fucking answers to their problems, like some kind of fucking universal grand theory on like why you're fucked up. It's because of the narcs. The narcs did it. The BPDs did it. This is how you protect yourself against narcs and BPDs and ASPDs. The autists are working against you. That's the truth. the psychological community refuses to reveal. I fucking hate Sam Batkin. That I can never say his goddamn last name. I do not like him at all. I think the guy's a piece of shit. That's my hot take. He's a person that should never have gotten to where he is. But it's so easy to sound smart, and he is smart, but he also knows there's a difference between being smart and being able to sound smart, right? So there's a lot of really smart people out there that do sound smart. Because a lot of his theories and ideas active regarding like schizoids and his connection to a lot of empty core stuff, he kind of ran with a bunch of ideas that I'm just like, okay, like the context, please, and just kind of built off of those ideas, and it just turned into like this whole fucking bullshit about like essentially, you know, we're just walking around without anything inside of us, and we never established it because of trauma, and so it was just, there was never like we never even had a chance to build a sense of identity ever. I don't buy that shit at all. I don't buy that shit at all. The inner child is there. That sense of self is somewhere buried. Got buried somewhere during your like fucking adolescent years or a little before that, you know. That's why a lot of schizoids, when they talk about it, they go like, "Oh, I have memories of myself when I was a child. I think I was normal, but or I was a little weird, but I don't remember feeling this like empty back then. But when I look at my kid version, I can't remember what that was like. I don't remember what it was like to be like a kid that was being playful and looking at things and curious. Like they're just like, I think I remember being like that. I think I have like visions in my head of a kid that was kind of like that, just scared but also curious and awe-inspired by things. But you know, I don't. Well, it feels like someone else's memory. That's how a lot of Zoids describe it. It feels like it's somebody else's memory. No, it's your memory. I think that's why there's also a lot of Zoids with like really traumatic past. Not all of them have like, you know, like I'm talking about like, I think they all have some trauma of various kinds, but like not, I'm talking about like, you know, like the really like conventionally bad stuff, like, you know, abuse, like straight up like direct abuse type stuff. And and a lot of them, when they talk about it, they're like very much like, oh yeah, that's just the thing that happened. That's how I was about my abuse. It was like, oh, it was just a thing that happened. Like, what am I gonna do about it? It's the past. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, and then I would think back on my memories of this like terrible event or something, and I would just be like, I don't feel anything about it. And I thought, oh, that's probably because like I didn't care to begin with, or I was just like, uh, you know what I mean? Like, and so then you start thinking that's true. It's pretty crazy. I can't tell you how many Zoids I've seen like talk about trauma in this kind of nonchalant way. I was a homeless teenager in a small town. Everyone labeled a crackhead on SSII. Or every labeled. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that shit could have been traumatizing as fuck to a Zoid to live around, be around. You know, parents screaming, getting hit, fucking, you know, like myself, like, you know, CA, or no, SA and stuff. Like, you know, shit like that in your past. And, like, a lot of Zoids will look back on it and just go, it was a thing that happened. It is what it is. But the reason they can do that is probably because of all the actual emotion that was tied to it, all the negative emotions been drained or pushed way fucking out of the way. All the confusion, all the fear. Like, you can't even recollect it sometimes. Like, you can't even remember what the fuck it was. I know that's how it was for me. Not anymore, though. That comes with its own consequences, though, right? But I'm the type to rather know the truth and the full picture, even if it makes me hurt. But I'm a glutton for punishment, so I guess that's weird. I don't know. I'm just one of those weirdos that, like, I'm just one of those people that I rather suffer than live in a lie, even though sometimes I should be taking it a lot slower. Yeah, that's one. Yeah, there's a lot of traumatized zoids that don't feel their trauma like anymore, and if they did, they forgot what it felt like it really disassociated from it. Or they do that thing. There's this thing they do that's really interesting, and I've seen other people do it where they talk about it, and then other people are like, "That's fucking horrible," and they're like, "Oh, I don't know, is it that bad?" And it's like, "Yeah, it's real bad." You know, you want to know like one of those like things that makes me think that there's some like, especially believe that there's some buried um deep emotionality, deep sensitivity, because I really do think Zoid kids, besides being in most cases neurodivergent, they're also just incredibly sensitive children. They were incredibly sensitive children and anxious, um, I guess empathic, just kids when they're little. And at some point, it was just too much for your little fucking brain. And that shit just went full stop. Over time, over the course of years, it's like, what? Eat that, eat this one, eat this feeling, eat. And your brain's not really that good at like picking and choosing when it comes to emotions to eat, to get rid of. So it starts just kind of disassociating from even the stuff that kind of works, or you kind of are okay with having in your life. Because it's like, well, that's all tied together. I guess the whole thing's going out. Oh, but what I was going to say, one of the pieces of evidence, in my mind, like, this is just my armchair shit as usual, is that like a lot of Zoids have like really strong, like ethical frameworks or like philosophical moral frameworks that they might not like actively pursue or like try to enforce on the world, but that they live by. They have like very like specific frameworks that they live by, and they're very specific things that make them very angry and very and sad about the world and that they inhabit, right? Or there's certain things that if it were to happen in front of them, they would become temporarily activated in some kind of emotional way, but then it would like go away, or they would act on it because something inside them like has a disgust mechanism, or something inside them makes me feel like I need to act against this. I need to say something, and even if they feel kind of like empty about it, they're like, just something makes me think I need to. That I think that's that kid. I think it's the kid. I really do. I brought up before, but like yeah, like as a kid, I was all about Spider-Man, 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 Spider-Man. Man, I fucking love Spider-Man. And as I got older, I was just like, why did I like Spider-Man so much? Like, what's so like? I would look at Spider-Man stuff. I'd be like, yeah, it's cool, but like, why was like 5, 6, 7 year old me like Spider-Man? And now I'm just like, is it just because I was a stupid kid? I used to think, oh, I'm just I was just stupid. I didn't know what was good, and I thought, oh, Spider-Man's so cool. Like that's what I thought. But then I remember, I'm like, nah, I didn't really think about stuff like that. Like I didn't think about it stuff like that. Like I thought about it in like weird ways, even when I was little. So why would Spider-Man be any different? And yeah, just like piecing all that shit together, I'm just like, oh, that's why I like Spider-Man. Oh shit. And I still like Spider-Man. I like what Spider-Man represents. I like what Spider-Man is. And that resonated with me as a kid. The hero that gets beaten up and told that they're a criminal, and they still like go like, well, fuck it, I gotta get up and I gotta do this because I have like a code and I uphold it, and even if it like fucks up my own life, like that's why I liked Spider-Man. I liked because as a kid, I was getting bullied, I was being mistreated, right? But I still wanted to be like, I still, something inside me still wanted to be like, I wanted to do the right thing. You know, when I was little, I want to make it so people don't get hurt. And I think I resonated as a kid with Spider-Man because I felt like treated like shit or neglected. And that was like a character that was essentially treated like shit and neglected, but he still kept getting up. And there was something about that just really wrong with me when I was younger. Sorry about that. Stupid fucking phone. Forgot to turn the note of things off. And like, I would have cringed. I would have died of cringe thinking about that like a few years ago. And now I'm just like embracing it. I'm understanding it. And it's funny to think that I've been like making a lot of choices throughout my life that are kind of like around some of these ideas, some of these things. And I was hating that part of myself for the longest. I wanted to be the bad guy, right? I wanted to be a villain. Because like the world felt so just pointless and painful and everything, and I just wanted like to no like any thoughts like about like wanting to like do something good for the world, like I used to just throw away as like what do you call it, like, you know, oh, delusion, and or I'm just, you know, it's a weakness, it's a weak part of me, it's a part of me that's weak. You know, in this world you can't be like that, you'll be destroyed. But I was just like coping, like the whole time I was just coping. Ugh. Like honestly, my misanthropy, my teenage and my 20s, my misanthropy, my like it a lot of it was cope. Like I remember when I was much younger, I used to think like, oh yeah, I'm probably just gonna be some psycho. I'm gonna be like some psycho, and I'm gonna be like, one day I'm gonna go crazy and a serial killer. Because then I started like reading a lot crazier stuff, like dark shit, and so I started thinking like, that's my future, because my, you know, it's so edgy, but like really fucked up thoughts. Or like, oh, that's what I'm gonna end up being, or some shit like that. And obviously it didn't happen because I never had any actual like instinctual or intuitive inclination to want to be like that. I just really wanted to convince myself. I really wanted to convince myself, like, no, like I'm gonna be the most misanthropic, awful thing a human being can be because that's the world that we live in. And I had, you know, it's like I used to have thoughts like that in my early 20s. Definitely teenagers. And I got older and I got older and I just got sadder and I got sadder. And I got more disappointed, more dejected with the things. And yeah, I was just like, those thoughts of like, oh, you know, I'm gonna be the bad one, fuck this world. Like those thoughts were just like not, they weren't doing anything for me anymore. That cope stopped working. I just got emptier and emptier. And then the hilarity that like one day I get my schizoid, you know, realize, oh, I'm schizoid. Well, that makes sense. And all this shit. And I decided to put it out on the fucking internet a few years ago. And I get responses. And all of a sudden, oh, my brain gets a little kick of dopamine or something from trying to, like, do something that might help people. Even when I was first doing it, I was thinking, like, I'm not the person. This is terrible. What am I doing? Like, they need, like, I'm not. I'm going to just give up. This is stupid. Like, what am I doing? Like, that's all I thought about. And so anytime I had like a motivation to be like, yeah, like I couldn't even tell myself that it actually feels kind of good to do something that helps people. Like I couldn't even tell myself that. Like I couldn't grasp that notion. I'm like, no, I'm not that person. I'm not that person. I'm not that person. Because I wanted, I because that's where all my feelings were probably. like caring, and my brain and my experiences taught me to not care because it was all so overwhelming at some point, and I didn't even remember when that happened. I had no like strong recollection of when that occurred. Crazy. And only now doing this, like I'm starting to feel like a sense of meaning and fulfillment. I never thought I would get a sense of meaning and fulfillment out of like just dedicating a portion of my life to other people. That is not something that I would have ever imagined. And it's funny because it's not like I was going around doing like awful shit, awful heinous shit. I wasn't. I was like LARPing in my head. It was all like internal world shit. Bunch of LARP. I would go to the worst places on the internet. I would read the worst shit, and I would look at some of the worst shit because I wanted to be that person. I want to be the person that's just grim dark about the world they inhabit. Because like I deluded myself into thinking that knowing all that stuff made me like at one with the truth of the sickness of this world. You know, like. And it's pretty funny too because like falling into that like spiral, it's literally really helpful for the very evil this world often possesses. It's literally helpful for you to do that. Going full doomer and like grimdark about everything, it's helpful. It helps them. They want you to do that. So if you want to like not do something that somebody wants you to do, like you're literally like in many ways, I'm not saying stop, you do whatever you want, but in many ways you're throwing away your own agency, and they're happy about it. They're glad. That possible person that can get in the way of things is not getting in the way because they think everything's fucked. Awesome. Keep doing that. Take the gore tour on your 2000. Yeah. You know what was funny is, I'll really quick. Hey, Angst, can I ask a favor? Will you tell me if I'm schizoaffective, schizotypal, schizoid, or cluster B? Bro, I can't diagnose you, right? I can't tell you what you are. But I can say that based on your behavior on this chat on occasion, you have a lot of emotional instability. And based on your channel and some of the stuff you say, and you said it yourself, I don't remember, but you think you said it yourself that you're diagnosed schizophrenic. So that I can't diagnose, but usually when somebody has like symptoms that are kind of associated with being bipolar and they have positive symptoms like, you know, psychosis, delusion, and hallucination, a lot of those people are the people that somebody properly diagnoses as schizoaffective. That's all I can say. I cannot tell you what you are. I'm just a loser. Oh yeah, so speaking of gore active research, I remember like I said, my worst years were my 20s, and in many ways, like mental health wise, like well, no, they're pretty bad now, but it's for different reasons. Like anxiety was fucking crazy at certain points, but I used to like go on like on gore sites because like I thought like because I felt so empty and I was just like I want to feel something, right? And I just like so I would just be morbidly curious and I'd be like, wow, let me see what this world really what's the fucking underbelly of the world. And so like I would like see it and like I would see like horrible shit like, you know, like fucking like videos from like Brazil and like fucked up shit from like, you know, like cartels cut off people's fucking appendages, lighting them on fire. Just horrible shit, right? And I remember like no, don't diagnose anybody. Ignore beta male cuckboy. What a name. And the silly, goofy, edgy font too. In any case, no, I used to like watch shit like that and like it was like an attempt to like, oh, you know, like maybe that's what I'm about. I'm just some sicko that like I used to think I'm just some sicko that's like only gonna feel something if I see violent shit. And I remember like I would like occasionally go into like a rabbit hole or something like that. And every single time I would come out of it really sick. And sometimes I would feel kind of like, I guess some like a, I'm not alexithymic, but kind of an alexithymic type trait where where like I would see horrible shit and my body would react, but I would like feel disgusted or sad. I would feel nauseous, like, and shaky, and my body would feel fucked up after like watching like some of that stuff. Like it just like feel all fucked up, and I'd be like, wow, fuck, why do I feel all fucked up? Like I would literally think I'm like, it must be something. It must be something I ate, or like, oh man, maybe I better check myself for diabetes or some shit. Like I literally would think that. I didn't like put two and two together. Oh wait a minute, until much later, I'm like, oh, watching gore shit makes me like really sick. It really bothered. And so like, yeah. And that's why I don't watch this shit anymore. Like sometimes I'll look at like if there's like a news or something, I'll look at like photos of like I can handle photos, but like video of like, oh man, I couldn't anymore. It's just like I want to fucking punch my screen. I get so fucking mad and disgusted. But before I was just like staring at it, I'd be like, whoa, that's crazy. And then later I'd be like, why am I having anxiety symptoms? Because like the some very deep portion of my brain was like, why are you watching this? This shit is awful. You hate this. And and it was like combating with the part of my brain that was going, this is what the world really is. I must take in this information. Or this is what I'm about. This is why I can't connect to humanity, because I'm so psycho. So I like watch shit I really shouldn't. Like I said, all that cartel, fucking terrorist, fucking factory accidents, like all the gore shit, like so fucking retarded, dude. What a stupid fucking idiot I was. If you're doing that now, stop. If you're like watching gore vids to feel something, and you notice that it doesn't make you feel any good, or it just makes you feel a little weird, don't do it anymore. It's probably part of the reason I developed in my late 20s and early 30s. Probably part of the reason I developed like a panic disorder. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it. People do what the fuck ever they want to animals and get away with it. Oh, I know, I fucking hate that shit. Ugh. That's supposed to be fucking normal. Make some silly joke about hurting animals to my face. You won't. I'm not gonna make a joke about hurting animals. I fucking find that such sick. This shit's so fucking sick. Like I used to think about that too. I gotta go, man. I'm, like way past my normal time, but I used to think about like, hey, how come um like I used to think like, oh, how come how come I can watch this shit? And I'm like, whatever, book it. And then like if I was like at a supermarket and I saw like some mom or dad being a complete piece of shit to their kid, like I get fucking pissed. Like I'd feel anger and I would just be like I just want to like fucking throw that person. I want to smash that person because they're like fucking mistreating their child. And then like I would just get like really angry, and then I would afterward I'd be like, what the fuck? You know, like why am I so fucking angry about this? Like this is shit. Like parents are shit. They treat their kids like shit. Like, well, why am I surprised? I can't do shit about it. You know, stuff like thoughts like that. I'm like, why the fuck? But I would like feel like I wouldn't like I was seeing red. Or the same thing with like if somebody was like fucking up their dog or something. Or like videos of somebody doing fucked up shit to like a dog or something. I don't know, man, it's bad. And that trait of like wanting to like test my like internal moral weird boundaries. That shit was ingrained in me since like I don't know, probably before my teenage years. Something like there was like just this like feeling of like, oh, I'm not a part of this world, so I must be some dark thing. I must be some terrible. I must be something. I'm just like I have to like this and that. It's like, oh. Like maybe that's why I like Binding of Isaac so much. Isaac, he's like, I'm a little demon. He's like, like I was probably that kid. Thought that shit about themselves or something. I'm cursed. I'm a demon. I'm a bad. I'm a big bad. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you said not actually active? Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not there, so I can't. Yeah, but don't go to jail over something like that either, though. Uh, you report it, you record it, you fucking get that person thrown in jail, or you grab the fucking animal and bolt. I mean, you'll still get in trouble, but you'll get in a lot less trouble than if you like beat the living shit out of them or something. And if they don't give a fuck about their pet anyway, they probably won't even do anything. Better off in a shelter than with somebody like that anyway. Anyway, alright guys. Thanks a lot for joining my depressed ass talk about shit. And if you enjoy the streams, if you like what I do, I know I didn't talk about much Zoid shit. Kind of integrated it there somewhere at the end. Went on a ramble about politics and the horribleness of how everyone's freaking out about stuff that's already been set in motion for so long. No one did anything about it anyway. Um, if you enjoy any of that, please support me on Patreon. If you say fuck Patreon, then use Coffee, which I have a link to somewhere. I think on my YouTube thing. Probably not in the description because I'm stupid. Or if you say fuck Coffee, fuck Patreon, you can always just send it to my PayPal. And if you're like fuck PayPal, then you could and you like Discord for some reason, you can like donate on Discord on the server. And if you're like fuck all that, then I don't know. Send me your prayers and wishes. If you're broke, don't send me anything. If you're like absolutely broke, don't send me a fucking dollar. Don't send me a single goddamn dollar, please. But if you can, it always helps. Helps me get through stuff. Helps me pay for little things. Look, I'll be honest. I'll be totally transparent. Like some of the money you guys send me, I'll use it to like pay like something that needs to get paid for at home, right? Like I can't like or for bills like that are needed for like just paying for certain little dumb things. It's like Discord boosts and like whatever. Like I use it for stuff like that. I use it like I've used it. I'm gonna be transparent. I've used it to buy like a game on a Steam sale for like $6 or something. I'll use it because I'm like I need a distraction. I'm too fucking depressed or something, and I need a distraction so that I can get through the day, so I can do this stream later, so that I can like. I've used it to buy like a like a 12 pack of beer or something, seltzers, because like I just like I need to get through the fucking day. Take some of those back, watch get enough energy going, and look up try to network or something, try to talk to people, look at what's on the server, try to come up with some kind of fucking idea about something, and stuff like that. That's literally like what I do. Like I'll use it for real, like practical things. I'll use it for real shit. I'll use it for stupid shit. That just like gives me a little fucking boost for the day. Oh, the other day, I'm gonna be super honest with you guys. Like I said, I love transparency, but I don't know. I hate talking about money. So the other day, and I felt like so much fucking shame about this shit. So I have a PayPal credit card, right, that I've used for like little things here and there, and it's not like I owe a whole bunch or anything, um, but you know, it's connected to my PayPal account, and I'm usually really good about making my payments for it. Like, and I usually will like throw a little extra in there. And that was like back when I needed stuff for like the. There was like a one time when I needed some stuff for the nonprofit things I'm trying to do that just seem not to be going anywhere because I don't know what to do and I don't have any help. And and whatever. And so, and there was like a time that we had some bills and I had to just use the card, whatever. So that's why I got that little couple hundies stacked of fucking debt. And I was almost like I was always on time my payments. And like this January, I fucked up and I got a late fee, right? And I no, that wasn't this January. That, February. We're in February, right? Okay, no. So back last year, like I think in like October or something, I fucked up and they charged me like a late fee thing, and I was like, "Hey, can you waive it? Like, I'm usually on time, blah blah blah." And they were like, "Yeah, okay, we'll waive it." And I was like, "Oh, thank God," because like I was just thinking, like, dude, like you know, $30 of the money that people are nice enough to fucking give me should go to fucking PayPal, like just as a late fee. It's not even going toward like a bill or anything. That's crazy. And so I avoided that time, but then this February, or this last payment that was to the beginning of February, I fucked up and they charged me a late fee. And I try to work with them and they're like, "No, sorry, we only waive late fees like once a year." And I was like, "Fuck, are you serious?" And I was just like dying, dude, from shame of like, dude, $30 of like that money that people are fucking cool enough to give me. That, who knows? I don't know what their situation is, but that they give it to me, like it fucking just went straight into like some fucking dumbass fucking mistake I made. I made some stupid fucking mistake. I didn't fucking pay it on time because I'm an idiot because I didn't set up the alarm right or something, and then boom, like there goes 30 fucking dollars of your guys' money, and it made me feel like shit. Because I fucking hate money. I hate late fees. I hate interest. I hate all that shit. I hate renters. What is it? Renter mentality. I fucking hate renter mentality. I'm not a fan of that shit. I'm not a fan of fucking renter. You want to know why houses are so expensive? Because fucking rentals. Everything's rented. Not even your video games are yours anymore. Christ, man. Right on a shelf, I'm not gonna show you right now, but I have a shelf full of just fucking cartridges, discs, and like, you know, all kinds of video game shit I've collected over the years. It's mine. I own it. All my video games on Steam, I don't own a single goddamn one of them. Fucking insane, man. And if you want a physical copy of some stuff, I'll charge you up the ass just because it's a physical copy. Used to be the only kind of copy you can get. Christ. Anyway, all right, guys. Thanks a lot for listening to me. Thanks for the support. Thanks if you send anything. I'll see you guys on Saturday, on Wednesday on the server. I'm gonna probably post a question, some kind of question for the schizoids on the server. If you haven't gone to the server, it's a Zoid Void. If you're a schizoid diagnosed or just have been really doing your own self stuff and you really like think you pinpointed it and you want to see what it's like to be around other Zoids or whatever, there is an application process. It is vetted. The way it's vetted is not a bot or something. The way it's vetted is me and moderators, other Zoids, like look at your answers to the questions in the application, and then we like, you know, see what's going on, and if we go like, yeah, that makes sense, like this is probably the right place for them, to like hash some shit out, and then we'll like go through. If we see it and we see like a bunch of signs that like you're likely somebody that will like have a good time in here, not just because like you are gonna cause people a bad time, but you might, being around schizoids is probably not like what you need at all. Like if somebody shows up with an application talking about how lonely they are and how like they just really, really want people to talk to, they're not getting into the schizoid portion of the server. One, that's going to be anathema to the Zoids on there. And then two, their reaction and their aversiveness to somebody behaving that way is going to make them bolt, which is bad for them. And it's going to make that person hurt because they're going to be like, they left me, everyone leaves me. If like that's the kind of problem they have. You know, that's, we don't, no. No. No, that's why we have a vetting process. It isn't some fucking you're not a true Scotsman, a true Zoid. No, there are legitimately people out there that like are dealing with stuff like avoidant personality disorder or antisocial personality disorder or some other type of shit, and like there's nothing good for them there. It's just gonna, and if there is something good for them there, it's gonna be real temporary, and it's not gonna be helpful to anybody. So, plus there's plenty of spaces for that kind of stuff already. Zoids don't really have a lot of places. I've seen some of the Zoid servers out there. I, that's all I'm saying. So we try our best to keep shit chugging along as best we can. But we still have a lot of ways to go to improve and do certain things. Funny thing about Zoids though, they don't like change much. And even if it's something that like I would deem to be a positive change or something useful, like a lot of Zoids seem to be pretty comfortable with stagnation. So, which isn't like necessarily beneficial to like support or like progress of the self and health and stuff and you know shit like that. All right, peace out, and as usual, when day is dark, always remember, happy day.